Let's do it.
We are live.
Hey, everybody in Facebook land, how are you? My name is Mike Neighbors, the host of Friday at 420 and the host of the comedy goings on at Funny 820. If you're watching us on Facebook, thanks for being here. This is all being done live right now. If you're listening to us on the radio, yeah, this was done a couple of days ago. Don't worry about it. But we are glad to have you along either way. Let us jump right into this episode of Friday at 420 and introduce our panel as we always do. And the first person I always like to introduce, because he's always the most excited to get on the air, it's Patrick Coppolino.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno, Patrick. How are you?
I'm very good. It's another sunny day out that I can enjoy from inside at my computer. I have a window right there.
Even before the pandemic and the lockdown and all the things that came with it, you were already kind of a pasty-looking fella. So, yeah. Staying indoors is safer for you, isn't it?
Yeah. Actually, we're going. Manolis and I are taking Jason Allen for some driving lessons today. So,
now that you have your license, you want to pass on. You want to pay it forward, do you?
I know exactly the route they're going to take him for the test now because I did it last week. So, I'm going to run him through that. So
let him in.
You're cheating on a driving exam. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is that this might ruin some of Jason's best comedy bits because some of his best stuff is about riding the bus.
Yeah. You know what's funny though? Because we have to wear masks and stuff, which I thought was crazy because for the test I have to wear my glasses when I drive, and it was fogging up my glasses and like it was hard to see. And I told them that, and he's like, he goes, you have to wear it. If it falls under your nose, it's an automatic fail. And I'm like, what? Yeah. And I'm like, he's like, you have to keep it on. I'm like, but it's like, I literally can't see. Like, it's fogging up and stuff. And I'm like, and it's not fair because I don't have to wear my glasses or my mask when I'm not doing the test. So it's a weird time. Like, I'm actually impairing my vision for my driver's test. And like, they're making me do it, which seems more dangerous than not having my mask on. But anyways, because of that, I was just saying, like, Jason could just give me his G1. I can put like a big face covering mask on, put a long wig on, and just do his test for him. They're never gonna know.
Do his voice. Yeah,
I'll be like, did I pass my test?
They'll never know it's you.
I've never driven before.
You gotta smoke.
You know what?
I can smoke in here, right?
If your glasses start fogging up when you're wearing a mask, just pretend you're in a dream. Just pretend it's a dream sequence. It all works out perfectly.
Well, I was holding my breath.
Let's continue to introduce the panel here before we run out of freaking time. Please say hello to our good friend Manolis Zontanos.
Hey, Mike, how you doing, buddy?
Manolis, how are you?
Dude, I'm so excited. It's
Natalie.
Ticanis. It's Natalie Ataranti's birthday today. Who's that? That's Chris Ataranti's sister, hot sister.
Okay,
it's her birthday. I want to wish her happy birthday. I'm using this show to get some brownie points with her. Also because the only reason I'm friends with Chris. At first I thought he was cool, but once I saw his sister, I'm like, I gotta be friends with Chris forever. It's my way into this family.
That's really why you're on the show. Really, is to see if you can possibly score with somebody, anybody, anytime.
Yeah, my hand needs a rest, Mike.
He's got the carpal tunnel. All right, listen, let's continue on here before we completely drive it into the ditch and introduce our very special guest. It's funny because it's because of this guy that I even know you two guys.
Yeah, sorry about that, Mike.
Yeah, you know what? No kidding, eh? Apologies accepted. Please say hello to Mr. Brantford. It is the one and only Jamie Stevens. Jamie, how are you, man?
Good, buddy. How are you? Good to see you again. It's been a long time.
It's great to see you. I got to say, and I was thinking about this when you were coming on the show. You hands down, you are the most interesting Facebook account that I follow. And I have been along on the journey with you, Jamie, because you are open and honest about everything that happens in your life, maybe to a fault.
Yeah.
And I was on your keto diet with you, man. I went through buying a Brava oven with you.
Did you?
I did that. Yeah. I believe I was in a jail cell in Russia at one point with you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, it is, I've launched WT Fest several times. I love what you do. And it truly is, if you can bear being that honest with the public, it is a great way to run a social media account. So I look forward to your posts.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, the rest of the show will now be via your Facebook posts.
Pretty much. Need you here. Yeah. No, it's funny, like I actually have some aspirations to run for council in Brantford eventually sometime, and I've had a couple people tell me that maybe that might not be a good thing for me because I am pretty open and honest. I mean, I don't post things just for the sake of posting. When I have something to say, I just say it and put it out to the universe. And sometimes it,
you know what? Sure, but I think it's awesome. I think it's the kind of person we need in politics is somebody who is open and honest and just says, listen, this is what I'm thinking. I mean, tell me I'm wrong, and I'll be the first one to jump on here and go, yeah, you know what? You made a great point. So I just appreciate the way you use social media, how open you are, how much you boost Brantford. I mean, and obviously you're coming to us, if you're watching on Facebook, you're coming to us live from the Rope Factory, which is your latest endeavor.
So I'm not going to lie, this is a green screen. I'm actually wearing shorts in my basement right now.
Yeah.
So I'm actually kind of surprised you guys aren't rocking the green screen here. What's going on?
Wait, that's actually a green screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's the green screen.
That's amazing. I was totally fooled.
I'm not at the Rope Factory. It's funny because the Rope Factory background. So the Rope Factory is my venue in Brantford. We do a lot of weddings, obviously. So during the shutdown, I've been meeting with a lot of my bride and grooms on doing Zoom calls, right? Because we've had to push their weddings back. So I always put the Rope Factory in. But yeah, this green screen, man.
It's too bad you couldn't green screen out that Bengals jersey. That's the only thing.
You know what? We can go to Vegas too if you want. We can go to Las Vegas.
Oh yeah, let's hang out in Vegas, man.
Yeah, there we go.
That's probably where Joe Burrows is hanging out right now. So
yeah, so it's been kind of a weird year. I'm sure you guys are everyone's in the same boat. It's just been a crazy 2020.
We're going to give you a chance to talk I want to talk to you a little bit about the Rope Factory. You took it over at just the craziest possible time, and I want to talk about that. I know you're doing some great restauranting out of there on Friday nights, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But first, we got to get to our game. We haven't played a round yet, so let's get our first random question here on Friday at 4:20 for our guest, Jamie Stevens, and that is topic number 6 for you, Jamie. Here's a little business question for you boys. Do you tip just because the machine offers the chance? Have you noticed this? And there's a lot of businesses now where you never would have tipped before. And suddenly if you're using a credit card in a pizza place or something and you're buying it right from the counter, the first thing that pops up is a tip.
Yeah.
Have you enlarged the circle of people you tip, or are you keeping it to what it always was before and skipping that part? Jamie, I'll let you go first.
So I always tip regardless. So I just tip based on the service. So if I'm usually an 18% tipper, that's my default. If I'm getting really good service, I go to 20%. If I got crappy service, I tip 10%.
Oh, okay. And so would you have started tipping at a pizza place at the counter? Like today I was at a sub shop. And they handed me the machine, and I mean the lady made my sub, and it was great, I'm sure. But I didn't traditionally tip the person making my sub before, and now all of a sudden tip comes up before I can pay for it.
It's on the debit machine. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I honestly tip everywhere I go. I mean that's maybe I'm a sucker, but I mean it's awkward when they hand you the debit machine. And like they know when you hit no. It's funny though, they don't know right away, but then when the receipt's printed and they look at it, you can just see their face.
Yeah.
How it changes. And if it's no tip, it's like, here you
go. Thanks.
Yeah. And then I'm thinking next time I go into that sub shop, she'll remember that I didn't.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, you want cheese? That's extra.
What's your deal with tipping? How do you feel about in the restaurant business?
I definitely tip now. When I was younger, when I was a young man and I saw Reservoir Dogs for the first time, that opening scene when they're in a diner and they're all debating whether or not you should tip and why you shouldn't. When I was 17 or 18 or whatever, when I saw that, I'm like, yeah, they should get a bit different job then if they don't if they want to make more money. And I still like I always tipped, but like when I was younger, I just for the simple math in my head, I would just move the decimal point. I would always do 10%, which I now know is not good. But yeah, I'm like Jamie. Like my default's 18, but since we started the comedy club, and I'm in that world. It really opened up my eyes to that. So I'm a lot more generous now. I usually like Jamie, like a minimum 18, but normally like if it was pretty good service, I'll do 20. Sometimes more if it was even better, or like so different, like depending on the place. But I will say this about tipping. Also that we learned. Me and Lindsay have a running tab now of comedians who do not tip. And I will release these names. I'm waiting for a reason to hold that list ransom, but
like no tip.
Oh, it's crazy. Like I remember hearing comics on a podcast discussing this too. Like if comics get free drinks and stuff, you're supposed to pass the savings on to the staff and stuff. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of people that just honestly like zero. Like they even if they rack up like $100 bills, zero tip.
What? Huh.
Wow, that's
so
brutal.
it's not about being like just having a beer and being a little broke. You're saying like they're even like paying a lot.
It's like and there's a few people that insist on buying all their friends drinks too. Like, oh, put this on my tab, put theirs on my tab, and then zero.
But I go to places, if they give me a free drink, like I often go to like a restaurant or something, and how to know the owner just through relationships in Brantford. If they say, "Oh, it's on me to give you a beer," I usually throw $5 to the bar. Like I pretty much end up paying for the drink, but not to the establishment. I pay it to the person who served it to me, right?
Yeah,
because there was still service involved, right? I mean, whether you got it for free or not, there was service involved, and that person still deserves some action. I have my daughters both are servers. I've gotten lots of discounted meals because of that. But I still tip out whoever the waitress was on that meal. I tip them out on the full price of the meal, not on my discounted price.
Yeah.
And that can get tricky with the math. Manoli, when I mentioned tip, you thought we were talking about something else entirely.
Bro, I always give the tip, man. You know that.
Just the tip. What do you think? How do you feel? You're a pretty generous guy anyway. But you don't have a lot of money, so this must be a real tough one for you.
It's less stress when you just don't have any. So whatever you have, you just give it away. You know.
I will say this. Sorry, just to cut you off, but real quick. Even at the club, Manolis pours his own drinks, and he still tips.
He takes care of himself.
Boy.
I would say I'm a good tipper. I think
you're a good tipper.
Am I a good tipper?
Yeah,
Pat.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's funny that song "Give It Away" is actually about like Anthony Kiedis talking about getting telling this girl that he liked this jacket, and she just take it. She's like, "What? Yeah, if someone left something, just give it away." And that's what that song is literally about, which is cool. But I had to say that. I'm sorry, but I like tipping in different ways. I'm not good with all the math. If I got to do the computer thing, I'd rather not do that. I like just giving them cash. That's my thing. But when you get the not McDonald's, Tim Hortons card, and you get a free coffee. When I was like, oh, you got a free coffee, I just give them the $2 then. I still pay for the coffee, and it's like, oh, free coffee, I'll give you a $2 tip instead of like 25-cent tip or whatever it is. But I remember being with Pat was with us. We were what's that restaurant? The Steakhouse?
Yeah.
Or whatever in Toronto?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were like we were with Joe Rogan. Yeah, we were lucky enough to eat with Joe Rogan because of Ari Shaffir, and the power went out, and we got none of our food, and we were really happy because
it was so
it was so expensive there. We were like we were just hanging out with that dude. So like,
you didn't want the food to come because you didn't want to have to pay for it.
Dude, we couldn't believe it. We were like so we're like, what do we like? We go there, and then we're like, we were talking to Ari. I'm like, what do we do here? Because back then we were definitely broke, and we're like, we can't afford this. We can't, because we didn't want to assume Rogan was going to pay for the meal.
Right,
he told us he would, but he didn't.
But then by some luck, there was a storm and the electricity went out, and they told us that we had to leave.
Patrick went to the bathroom halfway through. And probably...
Yeah.
And we were like, I never been so happy not to get food. And then as we were leaving, I saw Rogan scoop back a couple feet, and then he just left a $200 tip on the table
For
and
no
we didn't
service.
for zero service,
Nice.
which is pretty rad, dude.
Nice.
And
So
then,
he's not on Patrick's list.
He's not on the Patrick list.
No.
And then I went there eating with Dan Peters because it was the same. We had, by luck, got the same table where we sat with Rogan. I couldn't believe it, and he knows this story. And Peters left. To his credit, he left $1,000 tip.
Dan Peters Dan's in the chat right now, and he said, "Tell them about my tip."
Yeah,
What an egomaniac!
but it's true. He left. I think at least $1,000.
Wow.
Well, you know what they say. Dan Peters, the man of the people.
To his credit, man, he was like, you know what I mean? That guy, he throws the money around.
You know
very
what that is,
generously.
Manolis? That's guilt.
He's trying to buy his way into heaven. Good for you, Dan Peters. Thanks for watching, and good for you on leaving. I was like kind of like Patrick a little bit until I had two daughters who were both working as servers. I didn't really fully understand tipping and how important it was to what they do. And now it's kind of vital. But anyway, good topic, good discussion, guys. This is Friday at 420. Manolis Zontanos, Patrick Coppolino, our special guest, Jamie Stevens, the future mayor of Brantford. We have topic number one. This one topic is going to you, Patrick. I want you guys, and the rest of you can think about this one. Give me a word you think just sounds funny.
Funny?
What's a word that just kind of makes you giggle?
I wish I was the other guys. I had more time to think about this.
You want more time? Anybody got a word?
There's definitely-
I like shenanigans.
Shenanigans?
Shenanigans.
It's just funny. It's kind
Yeah,
of feels funny rolling off the tongue.
Something's about to happen. It's going to be amazing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shenanigans. I like
You know,
that.
and it never gets used enough. What? We're up to some shenanigans, you know?
What? You
It's
can
like-
start.
We could say you're up to shenanigans, and it doesn't really well. What are you doing? Well, shenanigans. It's not really what's shenanigans. It's
we
not
killed
gonna be
three
like
people. Shenanigans.
yeah, shenanigans. I can't even spell it. I can't spell anything, so it doesn't matter. But like my point being is, it's nothing bad's really happening unless you get caught.
Okay.
And then you just say shenanigans, and then you run.
Jamie, is there a word that comes to mind when I ask you for like a word that you just always thought sounded kind of funny to you? Was kind of a weird word?
You know what? There's a couple words I can't pronounce, and people always make fun of me when I try to say them. So I just don't put them in my vocabulary.
What's one of those words?
Well, I can't say them, but I can.
Well, sure you can.
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Can't pronounce it. I cannot. No matter what, I can't do it.
That's funny. Yeah.
Synthesizer.
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 I have to sing it. I have to sing it to say it. So it's
Okay.
almost become like party tricks now. Like when we're out for dinner or something, Erin, my fiance, will be like, "Hey, say it. Say it. What's that 80s keyboard thing? Say it." And I can't say it.
Can't say that word.
That's funny.
I have to sing it. I synthesize. I have to sing it. I can't pronounce it.
I had to when I got into radio broadcasting, there were two words that I struggled with that I always had to remember, and I still to this day have to remember. One is the word picture. I have to remember to say the C, right? Because I just always used to say pitcher, and it's a picture. And the other is nuclear, because I used to say nuclear. And even George W. Bush said nuclear, but that's really not the way you say that word. So nuclear. Patrick, did you come up with one yet?
I don't know. I had a hard time. I like. Have you ever had Finocchio? Finocchio. It's just fennel, but in Italian. I just grew up having Finocchio.
Is that one that's hard to say, or one that just makes you laugh?
No, it's just weird. It's funny. It reminds me of Pinocchio.
It's just weird. All right. I was going to do the original topic was going to be tell me a word that you think looks funny spelled out on the page. But then I thought, oh no, Manolis is on the show.
They all look funny.
Yeah.
Manolis, you posted something the other day, and you said like something about that show, that TV show you have a spot on or part on.
Yeah.
And you said someone said, "Are you on this show?" And you said, "Yeah, I'm in it for I'm on the show for a minute." And you spelled it Minnit. And then I pulled Esther aside. I asked her to spell it, and she spelled it correctly the first time.
Wait. Well, how do you spell minute?
Minnute.
Why were the no?
Well, yeah, what is that?
He doesn't believe me.
I don't believe you. It's Minnit. Minute. Min. Minn. Min. And then net.
Spell it like it sounds, right? Spell it like it sounds.
Where's there's no min you it.
Yeah, see,
there's no you.
No, here's the thing though, even if it wasn't spelled properly, Patrick knew what you meant.
Right, Patrick.
Yeah. Oh, I have his language in my head now. I'm the only one who can read Manolis' writing.
Oh,
yeah,
it's all in the phonetics, baby. All right, boys, we got another topic here on Friday at 4:20. A couple of weeks ago, we stunned the crowd at home by asking our panel their favorite deodorant. Today, we've got it just as riveting. What kind of toothpaste? What's your go-to toothpaste? Manolis, you get to go first. What's your go-to toothpaste?
Honestly, dude, I mean, Close Up.
You use toothpaste, right? Close Up?
Close Up.
Yeah, because you remember the commercials went from the 70s, right? And it was like,
exactly.
That's how you got kissing girls.
I thought you like Close Up somehow equaled getting laid somehow.
Yes, it did.
And because you
brush your
very
graphic.
Yeah, you brush your teeth and then you'd end up making out with a chick, and you're like, I want to make out with women,
so
he's
I'm like, still using it to
this. I'm like putting it in my mouth like it's water. There's a weird taste to it because you know what the weird thing about Close Up, they won't sell it at Shoppers Drug Mart. You got the only places it's like Dollarama has Close Up.
That's how far it's fallen as a product.
Yeah, it's me probably not doing a good job, but god damn the taste too. I could I almost want to put it on my Sundays. It's like just that red Close Up right all the way to the top.
Yeah, that glowy gel look to it.
It's red.
James Stevens, the world wants to know, what's your toothpaste? What's your go-to toothpaste, bro?
Whatever I can buy in a 4-pack at Costco.
Oh, that's it, eh?
Yeah.
You go,
I'm loyal to one brand. If it's Crest, Colgate, whatever. If it's 4-pack, $10.
You don't have the sensitive teeth. I'm on the Sensodyne because I have these sensitive teeth.
No, I don't. You know what? I grab whatever's on sale. I'm lucky.
Whatever's on sale, dude. On sale. Patrick Coppolino, what's your go-to toothpaste there at home?
Honestly, I'd have to check. I don't know.
You don't even know what toothpaste you use.
I live with a woman who's way more responsible than I am, so she just when it's gone, she gets more toothpaste.
Think about this for a minute, Patrick. Every single day, I hope every day, you pick up this tube of stuff, you put it in your mouth.
Yeah.
You think at some point along the way you go, what is this that I'm squeezing in my mouth?
No, I know it's toothpaste, so that's as far as my brain goes with that. But I will, if Dan's still listening, I'm curious what toothpaste Dan Peters uses. It's probably some $600 toothpaste that has gold flakes in it or something.
Gold flakes in it.
Sometimes the gold flakes get stuck in your teeth. It's annoying.
Thanks for being here, and we hope you're enjoying the show. Our special guest is Jamie Stevens. Out of Brantford, where he is the proprietor of the Rope Factory. Jamie, talk to me a little bit about this thing going down, because if I'm not mistaken, it was right at the start of the pandemic when you took hold of the property, or just before the sort of pandemic hit.
Yeah, so I got the business in August last year. So we had a pretty good run before the shutdown. I always joke with people it was the right time to dump my life savings into an event hall. So as you can see, it's really nice behind me. I know
it's gorgeous.
Can't see that, but it's a gorgeous property. So you can check it out, Rope Factory, theropefactory.com. We're an event venue in Brantford. It's this actually used to be an old rope factory. So they made rope here back in the early 1900s. So it's got all the natural brick, really nice decor, rustic decor. So we do weddings, corporate events, comedy shows, concerts, wherever people.
I mean, it was kind of, it made a little bit of sense for you to have your own event hall because you were the guy putting on events all over Brantford, right? With your the comedy shows that you do and some of the other events you've put together. The wine show, I know you were doing a wine show for a while. So eventually, once we get through this craziness, is that the goal? There is then you can stage your events in your own event hall and.
Yeah, 100%. This is a sandbox for me. May through November is weddings. That's
right.
Every weekend, every Friday, Saturday is a wedding in here. But during the week, we do, trivia nights, comedy shows, concerts, stuff like that. So yeah, but definitely gives me a chance to throw some stuff out there. And if it sticks, we make it a regular thing. And if it doesn't, no big deal. Just try something else. So
that is awesome. Are you working towards a WT Fest for this coming summer, or is that one?
It's funny you guys mentioned that. So before I got on the call, two of my partners were in Toronto today meeting with somebody pretty high profile who's interested in getting involved with the festival. So that was nice to hear. No, we've already announced we shelved our plans for 2022 for the outdoor festival.
Okay.
What we're doing for scrapped our plans for 2021. So we're planning 2022 right now. For next year, 2021, we're going to do a concert series. So as soon as we can start gathering, 200 people-ish, we're going to start doing some intimate concerts at the Rope Factory.
Okay.
As a concert series. And then 2022, we'll be back in the park with our big show.
That is awesome, man. You've done a pretty amazing job taking a festival that didn't exist and creating it from scratch and having a couple of really good runs at it. And I only wish you continued success with that in the future because I think that's really awesome. It's awesome for Brantford and the things that you do to Brantford has been growing and growing. And, when a community grows, it also needs people to help it grow in other ways, right? Culturally help it grow. And I think you've really done a lot of great work there. So congratulations, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
All right, let's pick another topic here. Topic number 11. This one is for Jamie Stevens.
All right.
This one was actually inserted in the envelopes because Jamie was going to be on the show.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you find the hardest part of playing poker, Jamie Stevens? I know I know Patrick got into poker because of the game that you were running. Manoli, I don't know if you have any. I know you help fund Patrick's poker passion, but I just want to know when you're playing, because you've played some. And again, this goes back to the Russian story, and I hope you'll share a few thoughts on that with us after you give us the answer. What's the hardest part of playing poker in a high stakes game?
Playing people who don't know how to play poker.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, it doesn't matter. And again, I'm not a high roller by any means. I've been at the table at some pretty bigger games, and it doesn't matter if you're playing 10-cent poker or $1,000 poker. There's always one guy at the table who doesn't know how to play.
That would be me.
And has the money to lose, and will pretty much do everything he's not supposed to do. And sometimes they win. A lot of times they lose, but they seem to always win when I'm at the table with them.
Yeah.
Patrick plays in my Monday night game that I host online since the shutdown, and we see it every week. You go in with the best hand, and someone calls you with two random cards, and they seem to win every single time, and it makes you want to smash your computer screen.
Yeah, that's why I didn't even join the Zoom call the last two times because I'm like, I can't listen. But what?
I don't understand though. Why is it bad just to play any way you want?
Because
so in poker, like there's no set way you're supposed to play, but there's sort of a assumed. I don't know, Patrick, help me out with this. There's almost like everyone has a different strategy.
But isn't bluffing a part of the game?
What's that?
But there's bluffing, and then there's just playing literally any hand, or like they'll get a pair, and they don't care whether it's like the worst pair, the middle pair, the top pair. They paired something, so they're calling you every street, and then they end up hitting like a set, or they end up with a full house somehow, and they didn't even know they had it, or just stuff like that happens all the time. And like they're calling you like when they should be folding, or they're not, like, they're not
Well, but this goes to, and Jamie and you and Patrick both know this, but this goes to the idea that when you are playing, I mean, part of the game is trying to figure out what the people playing against you have. And there are certain things that you know. So when the guy's like, if the guy's betting hard, I mean, you're going, is he bluffing? I mean, maybe he is bluffing. But, yeah, I mean, there are certain things you kind of go, there's no way this guy's playing a 2-7 here.
Okay, so Manolis, I give you an example, Manolis. So blackjack, blackjack, obviously.
Right.
So you're sitting at a table playing blackjack, and the guy in front of you gets 18.
Okay.
And the dealer says, do you want to hit or stay? You're staying at 18 all the time. All the time. It doesn't even matter if there's an ace if the guy's showing an ace. Conventional wisdom says stay.
Yeah.
The guy that hits and gets a 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And that's the equivalent of sitting at a table with a guy like that.
So maybe do they have better luck, or are they just better players somehow?
Well, they're not better players, I can assure you that.
Yeah, maybe in the long run these guys will lose.
And a lot of those guys aren't around long, they don't, they burn out really, really quick.
The luck of the draw, they hit once in a blue moon, and
but because they get lucky on those hands, they keep playing like that.
They think it's the way to play. Yeah.
So it's like stand-up comedy. You have one good set, and you stay forever.
Yeah. And keep waiting for that one good set to come back again, right? Yeah. Patrick,
by the way, anyone listening, if you're ever at a blackjack table, never hit 18. 1, won't win, and 2, everyone at the table will literally kick your ass in the parking lot. They will lose their mind. They will get so mad at you. You do not mess around at a blackjack table.
Patrick, do you agree with Jamie? That's the hardest part of playing poker is playing people who don't kind of have a clue what they're doing, or is there something else with poker that you find equally difficult?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's also just incredibly difficult, complicated game. I'm trying to learn. I have different courses I've signed up for. I have the solver software that you can run situations on to try to learn and put people on ranges and stuff. But yeah, on the most basic scale, just playing with people like that. For example, I won Jamie's tournament when I was 3 weeks into poker, just to show you I was one of those guys. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was just getting lucky after hand after hand, and I won the tournament. And then now
that was quite the run.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm substantially better at the game now, and I can't even make the final table.
See? That's the nature of poker,
I haven't won my own tournament in the last 30 weeks.
Jamie's never won.
It's like a badge of honor, really, to not win it.
Manoli, have you ever played poker aside, just strip poker? I know you've obviously convinced some women to play that before, but have you ever played actual poker?
No, I haven't played any cards. Not for real money, no. I've watched my friends. I have another buddy, Mike Sr., and we go to casinos once in a while. But I'll just give him $200, and I'm like, if we win anything big, give me half. But we never win. And I'm funding Patrick too. So Patrick's my RSP. I'm waiting. I'm hoping in the next couple weekends. I think he's free this weekend. So hopefully, if he wins big, then maybe, maybe who knows? Maybe I can get a pair of new shoes. We'll see.
Who knows? All right, here we go. It's another topic on Friday at 4:20. Our special guest, Jamie Stevens. We only got time for maybe a couple more here. Could you live in a rural area? Manolis, I'm going to go with you first. So you live in the city of Hamilton. I want to know, do you think you could live or might decide to live at some point in a rural area, way out in the boonies, by yourself, no one around for millions of miles? Would you do that? Could you do that?
I think if I was if I had a girlfriend, yeah,
sure,
because I think I'd go. I would need some companion. I couldn't be myself for sure. I'd have to find love, but if I went in those areas with her, it would be more time for us to be together, and then it would be her leaving sooner in the relationship. So it wouldn't really work out. I need to be in the city. You know what I'm saying?
It wouldn't be ideal.
No. I don't know. Everybody's like, it's a nice day. Go for a walk. It's like, then what? You just go for you're just walking on a sidewalk, and after a while, you're like, oh, I'm just a dude walking. Where am I going? I don't know. It's just weird. It's okay when you're in the forest, I guess. I think I'd rather just climb a tree anywhere, like than live in the country, you know. But
Yeah, you have no interest in. So, like, we can just say, despite the way you dress, you have no interest in being a country boy.
no, this is all goes back to Dukes of Hazzard. They did this in my brain.
They were
Just
country
watching-
boys. Coppolino, you've been an urbanite all your life. Would you ever live in the country? Could you see yourself living in a rural area?
If you asked me a year ago, it'd be like a hard no, probably. But honestly,
Right.
like just everything that's going on now, like that life seems more appealing than ever to me.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. If I could get away from like the internet and all that stuff, like who knows? But it's funny, like, because like Tom Green's doing this thing right now where he's touring across America in a van. Like just him and his dog, and they're going to like the desert in Utah, and he's going to Mexico, like all over the place. And he, there's something about that life that seems so appealing. It's so peaceful. You're out in the middle of nowhere. You're like cooking your food, like eating out of a pot that you just cooked on a fire, and like, yeah, I don't know. There's just something that
Who drives
seems
the van?
no headaches. What?
Who drives the van?
Tom, the dog does.
Of course, the dog does.
Duh.
It's Tom Green, for God's sakes. It was weird the other day because I saw Tom was on the Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore has a talk show now, and of course they were married, and he was on the show. And I thought that, and they say it was very nice, very lovely kind of interview going on there. But I thought that was kind of interesting.
What's that? I had Tom up here years ago. We did a small tour with him in Brantford, Niagara Falls, and Waterloo. And he was great to work with. And Patrick, I know Patrick's done some work with him too. But the one thing was I had to tell everybody when he did like a whole media tour with him.
Yeah.
To tell everyone, you do not ask about Drew Barrymore. Do not ask about Drew Barrymore. You can ask anything you want. Do not ask about Drew Barrymore. So we're on the radio in Waterloo, and I tell the host this, and we're in the studio live, and we're all live on the air, and the guy's like, all right, I know I'm not supposed to bring this up, but
no.
Drew Barrymore, come on, man, what's the deal? And Tom just headphones off, and we walked out.
Wow.
In the car, left live on the radio. Yeah,
I don't blame him. Though.
I was really upset because like we're trying to promote my show, but I'm upset with the radio station because it's like, guys, like this is the one thing, like, and Tom was super cool. He's like, you can ask me anything.
Yeah, just don't talk about that.
I want to talk about Drew Barrymore.
But
and it was funny because I was talking to him like over lunch, or just talking about it, and I kind of asked him. He's like, do you want to talk about your ex every single day?
Yeah.
Every single interview? Like,
I do. Because I'm not over her.
But they think like this is the first time you're being asked that question. And it's like you're doing 6 media drops a day, 6 people asking about your ex-wife every single day.
But did you see the vibe they had?
Great. I thought it was awesome.
I felt like there was something I felt like I'm like, are they gonna go back out? Like I felt there was like
I didn't
feel that?
Get that.
Like I'm watching. I'm like, I want them to. I'm like, I want them to fall in love again. If they get back together, I think there's hope for everybody.
That's
no
true.
one is a romantic at heart, so he thinks there's hope.
Actually, funny enough, to tie this all together, Jamie had Tom at the Rope Factory. I was looking through my to see what life was like before COVID, and that was like one of the last shows I did.
It's funny. We were it was. He just came back from overseas. And we were talking about it in the green room, just about how this is crazy. And he was actually glued to CNN, kind of listening for updates and stuff, because he had another tour I think he was going to go do.
Mm-hmm.
And that was literally just before the shutdown.
Yeah,
I think it was in March. Yeah,
I just like the idea of Tom Green being in the green room. That's kind of cool. Jamie, you get the rural question. We're almost out of time, but you get the rural question. Could you live in a rural area, or are you an urbanite?
Can't do it, man. In fact, as much as I love Brantford and like where I'm living, I would trade it all for a condo in downtown Toronto. I like just to open up the windows and see action.
Busy. You want to see action.
I got some friends that live out in the rural areas with gorgeous houses and no internet, like satellite internet. And I couldn't do it. You could give me the biggest house in the country, no internet, I couldn't do it.
Jamie, it was awesome having you on the show with us. Talk to me a little bit about your preparing meals. I think it's Friday nights you do the meals. Talk to me a little bit about that, and give yourself a plug for the poutine you're putting out there.
Cool. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. So I'll make it quick. So the Rope Factory event hall, obviously, we're shut down for events. I got this full service kitchen at the Rope Factory, so we decided to let's use the kitchen. So we came up with an idea for some gourmet poutine and mac and cheese. I know Patrick can vouch for this because he did come down and do some filming for us. The food's amazing.
Yeah, it is really good.
If you're listening to this in Hamilton, you want to come out and have, I guarantee, the best poutine or mac and cheese you'll ever have. It is called Spool at the Rope Factory, spooltakeout.ca. We are open Friday and Saturdays from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. We are takeout only right now just because of the COVID restrictions, but in the summer we're doing a nice patio and some indoor dining. But so this is the one positive out of the whole pandemic is I've learned the food industry in the last 30 something weeks.
Yeah.
So when this is over, obviously we're gonna have weddings and stuff at the Rope Factory. I'm actually out now looking for a small location to continue the poutineery and mac and cheese.
Are you still doing a truck
full time? What's that?
Are you still looking for a truck?
I'm not going to do a truck. So I was going to do a food truck, and I had some people who come from that industry kind of have a little bit of a, what do you call it? When you get people together and talk you out of it.
The what?
Brainstorm?
Oh, an intervention.
Intervention. I had an intervention.
You had a van intervention?
Do not do it. You do not want that life. Trust me. Getting up at 6 o'clock and driving around to events.
An intervention.
So I'm looking for a small takeout space. And the momentum we built up has been crazy. Like we see regulars every week. We've got people just lining up for the food, which has been amazing. So
that's awesome.
And as well, I'm guessing that there's possibly people get in touch with you about bookings further in the future for the Rope Factory if they're thinking of their wedding in 2021 or 2022 or whatever, to get in touch with the ropefactory.ca.
theropefactory.com.
Okay, theropefactory.com.
Yeah, hit me up.
Jamie, always great catching up with you, man. Like I said, you were the guy who introduced me to these two knuckleheads, and it seemed to have worked out okay, mostly for them, but whatever.
Riding your coattails, Mike. You're riding your coattails.
I appreciate you doing this show with us today. And everybody, follow Jamie on the social media, particularly Facebook. He's the most entertaining Facebook guy you'll run into. So thank you, Jamie. Patrick Coppolino, what do you got to say for yourself, bro?
As always, you can go to levitycomedyclub.com and see all the shows that we canceled. Take peruse through there. I spent the morning issuing refunds, which is what I wanted to do.
Good times,
I got into
man.
this business, and if you
The
got
John Doerr show,
for the John Doerr shows, yeah. So because we're working on a new date, but I get it. We don't have one yet. Who knows what's going to happen? We might all be dead next month. So, so we're issuing refunds. You can get your refund and then donate it to some rich kid who owns a barbecue shop. You should give it to him. He needs it. Other than that, I don't know. Not much.
That guy rich?
I'm moving to the woods. Yeah, he is, Manolis.
Well, he's rich now. 300
Yeah,
K.
but is the fines
Yeah,
are
he's
as much?
Apparently his dad's a millionaire. I don't know.
Well, listen, I'm just glad that you're actually refunding the money and not trying to be an airline and just giving people in
Well,
coupons.
here's the thing. Most people got their money back. I tried to double it for you on Poker Stars. So there might be a little wait for it's everyone's getting their money back.
Manolis, what are you plugging this week, buddy?
I was there. I saw my mechanic Bob today. It's called Highway Auto, and he's awesome. It's 1373 Main Street East. Is my mechanic. It's actually I've known this guy since I was probably like 8 years old, and
Didn't even have a car, but you already had a mechanic. That's cool.
He used to
Man,
fix
if I had more
Manolis'
time, I would have
three-wheeler.
got a couple paid plugs in here too, man. I didn't even think about that.
dude, I'm like,
Think about it.
This is how we wrap the show up. Manolis is plugging Bob, his mechanic. Well done, Manolis.
Had a couple
I
calls
love
before we went
Highway
live.
Auto. He's awesome, awesome dude. Honest.
Excellent.
Manolis. Sorry,
Yeah?
what's the address again? I didn't write it down. What is it?
1373 Main Street East,
Perfect. Thanks,
Hamilton.
All right.
Ask for Bob. Say Manolis sent you. Say the dude sent you.
Oh yeah, don't forget that part.
And I want
Hey,
to plug
everybody.
Smokes Poutineery, the best poutine you will ever have.
Hey, come on.
They're
man.
open Fridays and Saturdays.
an awesome day, everybody. Thank you so much for doing the show. Thank you for watching. If you've been watching on Facebook, we really appreciate it. If you're listening on Funny 820, guess what? It's almost the weekend, and we're going to talk to you again in 7 days. And until we do, have an awesome weekend. Woo!